Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Church of the Most High. This is Nickelbag speaking, and today is January 29th, 2026, Thursday, and we are going to get into our daily dose reading of the scriptures, beginning with the book of Proverbs, chapter 29. There are 20, yeah, 20. There are 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs, 31 days in a typical month. You divide it into a chapter a day, and at the end of 31 days, you're a little bit brighter, a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser. Um, it's just a book of practical advice and practical wisdom that you can apply to your daily life and be better off for it. So that said, we're going to get right into it. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The book of the Proverbs of the Kings of Israel, chapter 29. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father, but he that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance. The king by judgment establisheth the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthroweth it. A man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. In the transgression of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous doth sing and rejoice. The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it. Scornful men bring a city into a snare, but wise men turn away wrath. If a wise man contendeth with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, there is no rest. The bloodthirsty hate the upright, but the just seek his soul. A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. The poor and the deceitful man meet together. Jehovah Allah lighteneth both their eyes. The king that faithfully judgeth the poor, his throne shall be established forever. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases, but the righteous shall see their fall. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understand, he will not answer. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him. He that delicately bringeth up his servant from a child shall have him become his son at the length. An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Whoso is partner with the thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing, and bewrayeth it not. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in Jehovah Allah shall be safe. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from Allah Yahweh. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. And once again, that was the book of Proverbs, chapter 29. I want to make it very clear here, this verse about an angry man stirring up strife and people that go with angry, what does it say, more hope of an angry man. It's not telling you that you're not allowed to be angry. That's fucking stupid. Of course you're supposed to be angry when it's appropriate. Jehovah Allah built these bodies, built our endocrine systems, built our minds, gave us emotions for a reason. Because they're what keep us alive. They're what keep us learning. They're what keeps us, our society, from being sucked into the seventh sphincter of Sodom. When something is supposed to make you angry, you're supposed to get angry. And if there's no reason to be angry, then you're not supposed to be angry. It's pretty fucking simple shit. Don't let anybody that leans too far to the right or anybody that leans too far to the left demonize you for being a fucking human being, a beautiful human being that God created perfect in his state. Now, our second reading is from the book of Psalms. Our second reading is always from the book of Psalms. This cycle, as I call it, the daily dose cycle, the chronological progression of each of the scripture readings is something that was set in motion by God a couple years ago. And I don't want to make it sound like some book materialized in front of me. You know, it of course it came through me, but it's continual and it progresses chronologically, as I just said, and it's nothing that I pre-planned or predetermined or anything like that. Most of the days, you're going to see one reading reflect another by what would most people call coincidence, though I know and the people watching here know that there is no coincidence with God. Um, but yeah, that's the way that is, and it's designed for us to see and learn and to make the experience easier to absorb. So that said, in the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the book of Psalms, Psalm number 142, Mashkala David, a prayer when he was in the cave. I cried unto Jehovah Allah with my voice. With my voice unto Allah Yahweh did I make my supplication. I poured out my complaint before him. I showed before him my trouble. When my spirit was overwhelmed within me, then thou knewest my path. In the way wherein I walked have they privily laid a snare for me. I looked on my right hand, and beheld, but there was no man that would know me. Refuge failed me, no man cared for my soul. I cried unto thee, O Yahweh, I said, Thou art my refuge, and my portion in the land of the living. Attend unto my cry, for I am brought very low. Deliver me from my persecutors, for they are stronger than I. Bring my soul out of prison, that I may praise thy name. The righteous shall compass me about, for thou shalt deal bountifully with me. And once again, that was the book of Psalms, Psalm number 142. All the biblical readings get read from the authorized King James of the version of the Bible. That's the 1611, the Old English. And I do want to mention, too, a couple things. The final line here, bring my soul out of prison. In regards to the daily dose and the cycle, the very first time I began this devotional reading, this progression, I was in the Bucks County prison, solitary confinement, with the isolation segregation unit, in the hole. And at that moment, I was given the daily dose to begin reading this passage and the passage from the Quran, and at the time the passage from the Proverbs. There was only 3 at that time, and it progressed for a good year until I got arrested again, and then I lost the order of things, and then I had to reinstitute it. And again, it was another cycle, and then that got lost when I got arrested again. And then finally, we've been on this one for the past few years, and God willing, it stays like this, and it can continue to progress. But every time the Lord gives me the cycle, the sequence, miraculous things happen right outside in the real world that are reflected in this book here. So I want to make note of that. And there was something else that I wanted to say there too, and it's not coming to me. But that was the important part there. I believe that the Lord wanted us to hear. Again, it's not something that I like thought about ahead of time and looked, counted how many days it would be in a year, 365 days plus another 31 months to bring me into the end of January, and exactly what verse is going to fall on January 29th, 2026, way back in 2024. I'm not that smart, folks. I just want you to know I'm not that fucking smart, okay? Nor do I have the patience to run all that shit out. That said, also, I want to make note that I'm not pre-planning these sermons or these speeches either. Not the day before, not 5 minutes before. Everything is coming right off the top, folks. Just to make that clear, I don't sit around, and not to shame any ministers or pastors that do plan out their sermons in advance or anything like that, but this is all off the top. So now our third reading is always from the Quran, and I read from the new translation of the Quran by M.A.S. Abdel Halim. It's an Oxford World Press publication. There's many different translations of the Quran. I've read quite a few of them, and I am 100% confident that this is the best version of the Quran for the English-speaking reader to learn from and to absorb, hands down. A lot of our Islamic brothers would argue that like we need to say it in Arabic and this and that, and that's true. Like if you are content to learn this, like eventually one day you should learn some Arabic and try to put this all together. But I don't fucking speak Arabic, and neither does anybody watching, I don't think. So that doesn't do anybody any good. So we read it from the English version, and this is hands down the best English version. That said, in the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The Quran, Surah number 67, Al-Mulk, control. Exalted is he who holds all control in his hands, who has power over all things, who created death and life to test you and reveal which of you does best. He is the mighty, the forgiving, who created the seven heavens, one above the other. You will not see any disparity in what the God of mercy creates. Look again. Can you see any cracks? Look again and again. Your sight will turn back to you weak and defeated. We have adorned the lowest heaven with lamps, and made them missiles for stoning devils, for whom we have also prepared the torment of a blazing fire. Those who defy their Lord, for those who defy their Lord, we have prepared the torment of hell, an evil destination. They will hear it drawing in its breath when they are thrown in. It blazes forth, almost bursting with rage. Its keepers will ask every group that is thrown in, "Did no one come to warn you?" They will say, "Yes, a warner did come to us, but we did not believe him. We said, 'God has revealed nothing. You are greatly misguided.' They will say, 'If only we had listened or reasoned, we would not be with the inhabitants of the blazing fire.' And they will confess their sins. Away with the inhabitants of the blazing fire. But for those who fear their Lord in private, there is forgiveness and a great reward. Whether you keep your words secret or state them openly, Jehovah Allah knows fully what is in every heart. How could he who created not know his creation when he is the most subtle, the all-aware? It is he who has made the earth manageable for you. Travel its regions, eat his provision, and to him you will be resurrected. Are you sure that he who is in heaven will not make the earth swallow you up with a violent shudder? Are you sure that he who is in heaven will not send a pebble storm? You will come to know what my warning means. Those who went before them also disbelieved. How terrible was my condemnation! Do they not see the birds above them spreading and closing their wings? It is only the God of mercy who holds them up. He watches over everything. Who is this force of yours who will help you, if not the God of mercy? The disbelievers are truly deluded. Who can provide for you if he withholds his provision? Yet they persist in their insolence and their avoidance of the truth. Who is better guided? Someone who trips on his face, or someone who walks steadily on a straight path? It is he who brought you into being, he who endowed you with hearing, sight, and understanding. What small thanks you give! It is he who scattered you throughout the earth, he to whom you will be gathered. They say, "When will this promise be fulfilled if what you say is true?" Jehovah Allah alone has knowledge of this. My only duty is to give clear warning. When they see it close at hand, the disbelievers' faces will be gloomy, and it will be said, "This is what you were calling for." Say to them, just think. Regardless of whether God destroys me and my followers, or has mercy on us, who will protect the disbelievers from an agonizing torment? He is the God of mercy. We believe in him. We put our trust in him. You will come to know in time who is in obvious error. Just think, if all your water were to sink deep into the earth, who could give you flowing water in its place? And once again, that was the Quran, Surah number 67, Al-Mulk. I want you to know, like, what the warning here today in this day and age is about. And it's 100% about the super volcano underneath Yellowstone National Park over on the west coast. That volcano is over 100 years due to erupt, and every year the pressure underneath the continent over there mounts and makes the land raise up a few inches above sea level every year. Every year the ground keeps getting higher and higher as the pressure mounts underneath, and eventually that thing will pop. And when it does, there goes the west coast right there in the initial blast. Then you're going to have the pebble storm, the ashes falling down and destroying the rest of the United States, North American continent. The cloud of smoke created in ash will darken the sun, will blot out the moon. It will not fucking be pretty. What force do you have other than God that's going to stop that? And the only way he's going to stop that is if you swiftly and immediately begin to enact the capital punishment on child molesters that they deserve. It is incumbent on our elected officials in our government to do this, to take care of this problem. They're the ones put up by God in their position, in their office, sworn into duty to protect our children. The most important thing. And they're failing miserably. And the Lord will not protect or save or rescue a continent or a nation full of fucking snake child molesters. Getting worse and worse and worse. To the point now where people just want to accept that as a normal fucking sexual preference. Anybody trying to push that as a sexual preference to be accepted gets put up on the fucking pike with them. This is the fucking seventh sphincter of Sodom that our society's getting sucked into. Don't allow it. Write your senators, write your mayors, write your congressmen. Tell your local police officer to fucking really fuck that asshole up when they pick him up. Don't worry about the repercussions. You're not going to see anybody protesting. I hope to God you're not going to see anybody protesting when the police go and start rounding up people off Megan's list. When they turn the fucking ICE agents the other way and start rounding up child molesters and child rapists and anybody that would support them. I would certainly think that nobody would protest that. And if they do protest that, they 100% deserve every fucking Brit of force that's used against them, up to and including death. Again, you've been warned, plainly. Our fourth reading is always from, well, it's not always from, but it's typically out of one of 5 books. Well, yeah. How many books is it do I have here on that list? Let me give you an exact total here. So usually this fourth reading is one of 6 books. The book of Ecclesiasticus, which actually happens to fall first on the list here, and then the book of Lamentations, and then the book of Ecclesiastes, then the Wisdom of Solomon, then the Song of Solomon, and then the Revelation of Jesus Christ to St. John the Divine, which is the final book of the Bible. And again, we are still at the first of those 6 books that cycle through, which is Ecclesiasticus. A great book of wisdom. The Catholics call this book the Ben Sirach. Ben is not his first name. Ben is a Hebrew word that means son. It is the son of Sirach. His name happens to be Joshua, or Jesus, if you translate it that way. And he was a wise man. You might have heard the introduction when it was read a few weeks back. But if you hadn't, we'll read it again when we get there in the cycle. But today it is chapter number 23. So, without further, it is in the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the book of the wisdom of Yeshua ben Sirach, the son of Sirach, chapter number 23. O Lord, Father and Governor of all my whole life, lead me not to their counsels, and let me not fall by them. Who will set a scourge over my thoughts, and the discipline of wisdom over mine heart? That they spare me not for my ignorances, and it pass not by my sins, lest mine ignorances increase, and my sins abound to my destruction, and I fall before mine adversaries, and mine enemies rejoice over me, whose hope is far from thy mercy. O Lord, Father and God of my life, give me not a proud look, but turn away from thy servants always a haughty mind. Turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence, and thou shalt hold him up that is desirous always to serve thee. Let not the greediness of the belly, nor lust of the flesh take hold of me, and give not over me thy servant into an impudent mind. Hear, O ye children, the discipline of the mouth. He that keepeth it shall never be taken in his lips. The sinner shall be left in his foolishness. Both the evil speaker and the proud shall fall thereby. Accustom not thy mouth to swearing, neither use thyself to the naming of the Holy One. For as a servant that is continually beaten shall not be without a blue mark, so he that sweareth and nameth Allah continually shall not be faultless. A man that useth much swearing shall be filled with iniquity, and the plague shall never depart from his house. If he shall offend, his sin shall be upon him, and if he acknowledge not his sin, he maketh a double offence. And if he swear in vain, he shall not be innocent, but his house shall be full of calamities. There is a word that is clothed about with death. Allah grant that it be not found in the heritage of Jacob. For all such things shall be far from the godly, and they shall not wallow in their sins. Use not thy mouth to intemperate swearing, for therein is the word of sin. Remember thy father and thy mother, when thou sittest among great men. Be not forgetful before them, and so thou by thy custom become a fool, and wish that thou hadst not been born, and curse the day of thy nativity. The man that is accustomed to opprobrious words will never be reformed all the days of his life. Two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till he hath kindled a fire. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. A man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, Who seeth me? I am compassed about with darkness. The walls cover me, and nobody seeth me. What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins. Such a man only fears the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of Jehovah Allah are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. He knew all things ere ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. This man shall be punished in the streets of the city, and where he suspecteth not, he shall be taken. Thus shall it also go with the wife that leaveth her husband, and bringeth in an heir by another. For first she hath disobeyed the law of the Most High, and secondly she hath trespassed against her own husband, and thirdly she hath played the whore in adultery, and brought children by another man. She shall be brought out into the congregation, and inquisition shall be made of her children. Her children shall not take root, and her branches shall bring forth no fruit. She shall leave her memory to be cursed, and her reproach shall not be blotted out. And they that remain shall know that there is nothing better than the fear of Jehovah Allah, and there is nothing sweeter than to take heed unto the commandments of the Lord. It is great glory to follow Jehovah Allah, and to be received of him is long life. Hey, what's up, Henry? Stay lit, my brother. I want to go back here to first part here about swearing. Like, they're not talking about the way we use the word swear words these days. They're talking about like putting your hand on a Bible and saying, I swear, do you do this and that? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Yeah, how many people have been in a courtroom and told to put your hand up and swear on the book that tells you not to swear? So, right there. The next part of it is the what is it at? The next part of it is basically the people who think that nobody sees them. I want to tell you all from experience. When I was locked up, first few times I was in there with everybody, all the quote unquote normal people. You know what I mean? And regular people they are, no doubt about it. People that have made mistakes, fucked up in life. Some of them are kind of scurvy, but like they're all decent people for the most part. Some of them are fucked up in the head. Some of them people are extremely criminally minded, even in the minor things, trying to always get over on somebody somehow. And I wish you guys would give that shit up. It ain't doing you no good. Love each other, try to hook each other up, and bless each other, not get over on each other. But the last few times, because I refused to compromise on my faith and my belief and the message the Lord has given me, they put me on the block with the people that have mental health disorders. And those blocks are the blocks that house the child molesters and the child abusers. And I can tell you from experience, not a single goddamn one of them walks around with any fucking remorse on their face. They think they got away with fucking murder. They think, plus they're told they're protected, and they are protected in there. They are absolutely protected in there. They got no remorse at all whatsoever. They're sitting at the table, they're playing cards and laughing and smiling while the kid that they molested is at home, sitting in a bed, curled in the fetal position, crying. Let me say that again. The child molesters are protected in jail. They're walking around the blocks. They're sitting at the table playing cards, laughing, smiling, having a good old fucking time in there, while the children they heard are in therapy crying about what happened, scared that this person's going to come out and try to find them again. They sit down, they watch the football game, they laugh and yell at the TV. Not a single fucking one has any fucking remorse in them. They think they got away with it. They think they got 2 years and they're good to go. It makes me fucking sick. And it should make you sick and angry. It's appropriate to be angry when it comes to this topic. The fact that we don't get angry anymore when it comes to this topic and would rather laugh or brush it off is the fucking problem. Don't let some fucking crackpot head shrink tell you that your emotion makes you a madman or unstable, because things that are supposed to make you angry. And you walk around angry all the time because the world is getting worse and worse and this fucking shit gets fucking deeper and deeper. And so there's more to be angry about. That's not called psychosis. Again, that's called normal human reaction, and it's there for a reason. So you put a fucking stop to the shit and can go back to walking around not having everything piss you off because it's tainted by fucking kid touchers. So the next book of the Bible here, our final reading from the Daily Dose, is the book of the Gospel according to St. Matthew the Apostle. Uh, so we left off with Jesus being asked if he was supposed to pay taxes. And he said, yeah, the taxes were being given to their oppressors. And he was making the point to Peter, like, this is how it works. This is just how the world works. And it was kind of like subversive subliminal statement too, like this is what this is what's going to be, this is the way the kingdom of Israel was, this is the kingdom of Rome, this is every kingdom, it's just the way of the world. So that said, don't forget, like, the taxes are supposed to go to help the infrastructure. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a bad thing to pay your taxes for the good of the community. It's a terrible fucking bullshit situation when most of the taxes are going to line some politician's pocket or replace the doorknob on the Capitol building at a cost of $3,000 for somebody's office doorknob, or $3,000 for the personal fucking private toilet in the office of the governor's secretary. Stupid shit like that. But when it's going to fix the roads and put electrical lights and power lines in, it's a great thing. Running water, these are all awesome things to have and luxuries that we are blessed to have and enjoy. And be grateful to God for them. Now, let me get into the reading here. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The book of the Gospel according to St. Matthew the Apostle, chapter 18. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, now let me start that again. I didn't do my funny voice. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The book of the Gospel according to St. Matthew the Apostle, chapter 18. Let me stop right there. The reason I do the voices is to make sure that everybody's understanding who's saying what to who. Part of the understanding of the Bible is to be able to rightly divide the what's being said, the message, and a lot of times it's difficult to follow this. I understand that very well. It didn't come overnight necessarily to determine who's saying what to who in this passage. Sometimes it all just runs together. So the Lord has commanded me to do that the best I can so that we get a better picture of it all. I don't just do it here on camera. I do it myself alone in private for my own personal benefit. And I suggest maybe you try it too, even if only in your head. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The book of the Gospel according to St. Matthew the Apostle, chapter 18. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea. Woe unto the world because of offenses! For it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off, and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. And if thine hand offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hellfire. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones. For I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. Let me pause right there. If you're a child molester, or you have thoughts of pedophilia, kill yourself. Commit suicide. Slit your wrist. Blow your fucking brain out. Please. Do everybody a fucking favor. If you've molested a child in the past and were convicted, if you molested a child in the past and weren't caught, if you're thinking about molesting a child now, fucking kill yourself. That's your only fucking hope. I guarantee it. You hear what it says about it would be better for a millstone hanged on your neck than you to be drowned in the sea? It means better than that. If that sounds like a fucking horrible thing to you, to have a stone tied around your neck and thrown into the ocean, well, what's coming to you is far fucking worse. Kill yourself. I encourage it. Verse 18. For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost. How think ye? If a man have 100 sheep, and one of them be gone astray, doth he not leave the 99 and goeth into the mountains, and seeketh that which is gone astray? And if so be that he find it, truly I say unto you, he rejoiceth more of that sheep than of 99 which went not astray. Even so, it is not the will of your Father which is in heaven that one of these little ones should perish. Let's make that clear. It is not what God wants that one of these children is hurt. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And if he neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican. Truly I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Again I say unto you, that if 2 of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. You see the problem with pedophiles? I can't even read the word touching. I can't even read the word touching in the Bible in a context not related to child molesting without thoughts of child molesting coming into people's heads. Do you see the fucking problem here, folks? Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times. Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents. But forasmuch as he had not to pay, his lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife, and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. Then the lord of that servant was moved with compassion, and loosed him, and forgave him the debt. But the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence. And he laid hands on him, and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet, and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And he would not, but went and cast him into prison, till he should pay the debt. So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their lord all that was done. Then his lord, after that he had called him, said unto them, O thou wicked servant, I forgave thee all that debt, because thou desiredst me. Shouldst not thou have also had compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee? And his lord was wroth, and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due unto him. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye from your hearts forgive not every one his brother their trespasses. And that concludes the Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 18. Some people might be wondering, how can you just tell child molesters to kill themselves and that they deserve the death penalty, and then in the same line, in the same chapter, read about forgiving your brothers? Because you don't have to hold resentments against someone to fucking execute them for their crime in order to deter others from trying to commit it. This may be shocking to some people, but I was not molested. I was not touched. I have no real vested interest in seeing pedophiles be executed, except for the fact that I don't want to live in a world where my daughter could be fucking harmed by somebody and I go to fucking jail if I do something about it. I don't want to live in a world where every other night I have to hear some graphic description of what happened to a child. I don't want to live in a world that continues to protect people that harm our children contrary to what the Lord says is supposed to be done to them. Again, if you didn't fucking understand, you ask, how can you say that they should be killed and then say to forgive them? Did you miss the first part of the fucking chapter? Did you miss the first part where he said it would be better for them that harm a child to be thrown in the ocean with a rock around their neck? Did you miss that fucking part at the beginning of the chapter? Go back and read it again. That didn't change in 21 lines. 30 some lines. 30 lines didn't change that subject, didn't change that fact. They're talking about petty shit, money owed, things like that. Not raping and murdering children wholesale on our dime. Because what happens when these children get raped and murdered? They go to fucking jail and they get fed like kings. Make no mistake, people like to complain about the food in jail, but you get 3 square meals with a balanced, nutritious diet. A lot better food than a lot of people on the street are getting. They're going there and eating like a king would have eaten a couple 100 years ago. In some places. Showers, medicine, for any medical condition they can come up with, they're getting medicine. Meanwhile, there's people on the street can't afford the medicine. You fuck a kid and go to jail, that's all handed to you. Nobody should have to pay for that. Nobody should have to hear about it on the television. Nobody should have to worry that their child is in danger. You want to know what mercy and not sacrifice means? Because I'm sure that line is coming up sooner or later in one of these Gospels here. Christ told them, if you knew what it meant, I would have mercy and not sacrifice. You wouldn't have condemned the innocent. And he was talking in reference to John the Baptist, and he was talking in reference to himself at the time, but he was also talking in reference to what's going on here today. You're trying to show mercy. A lot of people use mercy and compassion as some kind of an excuse not to execute these people. But what you fail to realize is that is not mercy. You should be showing mercy to the children that have been hurt and that are in harm's way. You want to show mercy to the child who is harmed, who sits at home at night wondering what's wrong with him now. Who sits at home at night wondering if this person who harmed him is going to get out of jail and come look for him, or if he's going to get out of jail and he's going to run into him at the grocery store or at the park. If you want to show mercy to that child. Because by allowing the fucking molester to continue to run free, not only are you not showing mercy to the child, but you're fucking instituting fucking child sacrifice. You're sacrificing the child at the same time withholding the mercy. If you think child molestation isn't a form of child sacrifice, you don't know the whole fucking scope of things. I pray that you see these scriptures, these lines, this wisdom play out in daily life. I pray that none of these children get hurt anymore. I pray that the child molesters kill themselves. But I do pray, apart from all that nasty shit, that what we read here today and what you've heard here today is wisdom that you can incorporate into your daily life, and that you've been made wiser because of it, that you can pass it along. And I pray that it manifests. I pray that you see these scenes play out in front of you, reenacted, as you will eventually. If you believe and you stay with it, this cycle reflects reality. Reality reflects the cycle. But let me give you all the blessing and we can go about our day. Jehovah Allah, bless thee and keep thee. Allah Yahweh, cause the face to shine upon thee and be gracious toward thee. Hashem, lift up the countenance upon thee and give you peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Stay lit, friends. God bless you.